My question is to the Prime Minister, and it follows my last question about why it is that modelling for his net zero policy has not been released. Is he aware that a senior official has just told Senate estimates, to quote, "We are finalising the writing up of that work," end quote. How is it that this Prime Minister released his so-called plan, where he said plan 94 times between him and the Minister, but doesn't actually have one and doesn't have modelling that he can table?
Time has concluded. The Prime Minister has the call.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Modelling will be released in the next couple of weeks, Mr Speaker. It'll be there for everybody
Members on my left.
It'll be there for everybody to see. Mr Speaker, the plan has been released. I've tabled it in the Parliament.
Members on my
form
left.
Part of our nationally determined contribution at COP26, Mr Speaker.
The member for McEwen will leave under Standing Order 94A. The Prime Minister has the call.
It sets out.
The member for Kingsford Smith will follow him. The Prime Minister has the call.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It sets out that our 2030 commitment, our government has a 2030 commitment, Mr Speaker. The opposition still doesn't have a 2030 target at all. They don't have one, Mr Speaker, so they can't speak of one because it isn't there, Mr Speaker. We have one. We took it to the last election. It was supported by the Australian people. The Labor Party had one. It was 45%. It was rejected by the Australian people, and they've been sitting there twiddling their thumbs about what it should be ever since. They don't know whether it should be higher.
The Prime Minister, there wasn't
an
opportunity in this question to speak about the opposition policies.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. So the net zero by 2050 position that the government has been arrived at based on the modelling that has been done by the government, Mr Speaker, through the Department of Industry, Science, Energy and Resources, Mr Speaker, a highly competent department, Mr Speaker, led by Secretary Fredericks, Mr Speaker, who I know is well regarded around the public service, Mr Speaker, and that document will be released in the next few weeks, and it'll be there, Mr Speaker. It'll be there, Mr Speaker, and they'll be able to see it. And they'll be able to see, Mr Speaker, that what it does through the plan that we're putting in place with technology, not taxes, with respecting people's choices and not seeking to legislate what people should do in their lives, in their businesses, on their farms, in their mines, Mr Speaker. That's what the Labor Party wants to do, not us. We want to let the Australian economy achieve this target, and we know it can. We know that Australians can achieve this because emissions have already fallen by more than 20%.
The Prime Minister will resume his seat. The Manager of Opposition Business on a point of order.
On direct relevance, the question goes to the Prime Minister being asked about modelling and never once letting us know the document doesn't even exist.
The Manager of Opposition Business won't use the opportunity to try and give a statement or ask a different question. Has the Prime Minister concluded? Okay. Well, just before you recommence, there isn't an opportunity to talk about opposition policies in his answer. But the Prime Minister,
because they don't have any, Mr Speaker. They don't have any targets. They don't have any plans for their 2050. So I can't help there, Mr Speaker.
Well, maybe
I'm sorry.
maybe you
and
want
I'm
to wind
happy
up
to
your
conclude
answer.
on that note, Mr Speaker.